Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. This time is of the Mezco MDX Vigilante Daredevil. Let's get started. This one was exclusive to their website and it was released and now I have it. It's one of those things where the more I got to play with it, the more I enjoyed it. On first glance, I know some people were disappointed by the lack of everything and then it being on a Joker body. But I actually sat down and played with the toy and I actually enjoyed it a lot. It is on the Joker body, but it's actually modified in some ways. I believe the legs are more blade and the upper torso is a Joker body. And that's the crazy part. Because the more I play with it, the more I realize it moves way, way, way better than the Joker's legs. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get into that. First off, we're going to talk about the fact that this head sculpt actually looks really great. And I think this head sculpt actually looks better than the one for the regular Daredevil. Because this one definitely has more of the 5 o'clock shadow of the Charlie Cox. And I forgot to mention that totally because I was forgetting about that just in general because I was thinking more comic book Daredevil. But Charlie Cox definitely had the permanent 5 o'clock shadow that Hollywood gives you when you're doing a TV show. Now, the regular Daredevil was missing that, but this one has more of it. It definitely is a more blend to the face, but it definitely nailed the face look like 100% right here at the chin and the mouth area. That's just me in my opinion, but I think it's definitely nailed a lot better there. The head uses the Joker Ghostbusters peg, where it's all one piece. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I'm not a fan of those ones, but it does get the job done for this kind of piece. So what happens is when you want to look up or look down, it's all one singular piece. So you have to kind of get used to that. This back piece right here is soft plastic. It does not move past this point. So please don't try to snap it off the back of the head. You will immensely regret it. Don't do that. Yes. Now, as far as the arm, yes, we do get upper torso Joker. So that means the arm goes up about this far, and the forearms are single jointed. I know a lot of people are disappointed by that, but it kind of works itself out. But it does take away from the cool ninja stuff that you would do with Matt Murdock. So you can sit here and do the robot very well. You can cross down the arms really well, but it's just not enough for what you really want to do with Matt Murdock, and that's a bit of a bummer. But the problem is it gives you the look of the part. It just doesn't give you that crazy articulation you want. It definitely has upper torso body looking right for Matt Murdock. And it does give you that better range of articulation for him because Joker body definitely was a little bit more stiff. And this one actually gives you a way better range in terms of movement that you would want on a figure. Now, as you can see, I can't press it down a whole lot, but with the new blade legs that give you much better mobility and are double jointed in a way that just look better, as you can see here, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff. Is it what you want exactly? Probably not. But this is actually a really good punching pose. You know what I mean? Like, it is much better. Adding that little extra bit in the torso and giving it the blade legs is actually a really good spark of genius if you don't want to make everybody too mad. Because you can definitely do pretty cool poses with him. Right? So, here he is just getting down with the get down. And it looks pretty good. Let's actually move this back. So as you can see here, if you get down with the get down, you can actually get really good poses out of him. So the one thing you're definitely going to have to worry about is rotating that arm. If you don't know where it is, the best thing I can suggest that you do is you hold it from here. You see where your twist is at because you'll see where the bend is. And then you rotate where that bend is. That's one of the best things you can possibly do to find it because that joint is pretty much invisible on that single joint. Now, as far as the legs go, as you saw, I moved it around in various different ways. But one of the coolest things is that you can still get these kind of poses, those jumping poses. And then, like I said, you have range to put the arm up now. So you can actually do jumping at ninja poses. You can actually crouch down, which is also fun because it's just like, it's little things like that that you kind of just can cover a lot better. And then it rotates really far in. So also, with this double jointed knee, and I always forget about to add in this, but let me try to talk about it here. The knee can actually move in two places. So you can move the knee from the top, you can move it from the bottom, which gives you either range this way or range to look a little bit more natural this way. Then you have the boot cut rotation, and then you have the very small but very important ankle pivot, which is very, very important, especially when you want to pose. So this is actually not that bad of a figure. Is it what you wanted more? Probably, but this one isn't bad at all. That upper torso thing can be looked over if you can pose them upright. Because as you can see here, he still looks really good in a bunch of different poses. Now, the real bummer is the fact that he doesn't come with a lot of accessories. But when you think about the Netflix series, he really didn't come with that much to begin with. This was a guy who made his own costume from some Under Armour and some black sweats. So I really can't complain about that. But anyway, yeah, that was my own fault. Let's talk about the accessories that he does come with. As you can see, he has his holder on his right leg this time and not the left leg for the costume. And he has his homemade sticks. And as you can see, you can't hold because I keep banging on the table. Let me fix this. So let's make you stand up straight instead. Right? You look nice. So you have these two, and these actually fit into the holder pretty well. They slide right in and slide right out. They also hold pretty well when you hold them upside down. So as you can see, I'm shaking them. No problem. So he can hold those with no issue. So when you want to do really cool upside down flip kick poses, I don't think you'll have too much of an issue with this guy. Now, the one cool thing that he does come with, and I can't knock it at all, and I love it, is the fact that his secondary head is the bloodied head. And it has the Matt Murdock frown that he always gives in this kind of stance. So this is actually really, really dope. I enjoy this head right here. This one, it definitely takes the cake, and it was a nice addition to it. After that, you just only get two other sets of hands. One set of hands is actually for holding his sticks, which hold them very well. Try not to stretch these out too far. And then you get open action palm hands, which can be to hold stuff, attack bad guys, look cool in martial arts poses. This is going to be it for you. Also, for those of you who want to swap your hands, if you have the normal red Daredevil, these hands are interchangeable with the normal red Daredevil. So let's say you didn't want these red and black hands. You can swap them on with these ones. And shout out to my friend Brian for figuring this out because I didn't think about this. So if you want to just swap them on and have all black hands, you totally can. Now we're going to get into stuff that you guys like, which is the size comparisons. So let's put this guy already next to his red devil counterpart. And as you can see here, yeah, they look pretty good. They do completely look different though. And if this body was ever under here, it probably would work pretty well because it would just fill out this costume, make it look a lot better. But you guys would complain because there would be no double joints, right? So it's a win-lose situation or a win-win situation depending on how you're looking at it. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. Actually, I'm going to leave him out so I can compare him with the Defenders. So you can see how he looks next to Marvel Legends Luke Cage. Let's take care of you, move you out of the way. Jessica Jones. She's always going to be the tiniest of them. Colleen. And these two actually look pretty good size-wise. And then we're going to remove you guys so I can do Iron Fist next. I need to get you guys out of the way. So next up is going to be Danny. Tuku for Kung Fu. Yeah, so the Mezco actually works pretty well with the Legends if you want to size those guys up. Next up, we can compare him to the Marvel Legends I was about to say Daredevil again. The Marvel Legends Bullseye. And while he's a little bit bigger than the Marvel Legends Bullseye, I think it still works in terms of having them against each other fighting. Works out pretty well. Here he is next to Kingpin. Well, obviously he's gigantic, but I don't see why that wouldn't work if you want to try to sell it as an oversized thing, right? Next up, let's compare him to the Mezco Punisher, in case you want to mix up your Punishers with him. And I have a custom head on it, so if I wanted to do the John Berthenol head against him, works out pretty well. Next up, Storm Collectibles Reptile, see size-wise. That Storm is actually looking pretty big, but I think he works well against him. Finally, it's someone that's bigger than him, right? Next up, a Storm, a Hasbro White Ranger from the Lightning Collection. Looks pretty good in terms of size. What is next? Let's compare him to a Mafex Spider-Man. And I didn't do the MCU one because we already know he's a kid, so he's going to be significantly smaller. But just in case. Also, I just want to add that this costume is actually coming in some shape or form to the comic book world, so it may be a good time to have it. One of the things I want to point out that I didn't realize until I was reviewing this is that no one else has done this costume. Here he is next to SH Figuarts Kuga. And it's weird because you'd figure that Hasbro would do it, but they didn't. And now Mezco is the only one to do the Vigilante costume. This is not including customs that people have done, but it's one of those weird things where there's nothing to really compare it to because no one's ever done it. So that's just something I want to point out. Next up, we have a Mythic Legions Orc. In case you want to do the God Without Fear stuff from War of the Realms. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. So you can get that black on black love. Right? Then we have an Articulated Icons. Oh, sorry, not Articulated Icons. We have 1000 Toys Synthetic Human. That I think I've messed around with so much that his torso is coming apart. I've had so much fun with this figure. I studied a lot of poses from this thing. And then I'm going to compare it to a ninja. I just got to grab one for you guys. Or I'll add it in the end, depending on whether or not you guys want to wait or not. It all depends on you. Actually, nah. You know what? I'm going to grab one. I have one right here. So this will be one of the last things. And then I'm going to throw extra special size comparison in there for you guys. Here he is with an AI ninja. This one is an armored one. And as you can see, he stands significantly taller than them. But it works in army building stuff. So you can kind of pick and choose how you want to do that force perspective. Just in case you want to get super religious with your photos, here are two guys who definitely would be a very rare combination. So I figured I'd choose these guys to size up, right? All in all, is the figure good? Yes. Is it spectacular? That's up for you to decide. Because honestly, in terms of what I'm thinking, it definitely moves a lot better than what everyone else was claiming it. At least I got that vibe from it. But if it's one of those things where you feel like you are sold short and don't want to pay for it, I think that's totally fine. But you also have to consider that this is the only Vigilante Daredevil done. So you have to kind of pick and choose how you want to go about this. And that's some food for thought. In the meantime, I hope you guys found it informative. Hope you enjoyed. But most of all, hope you do good, be good. Drink your water, guys. Later.